Hey eBay sellers, it's Suzanne A. Wells, and in this video I'm going to address the comment I see all the time: eBay fees are too high. So let's talk about that. This is a very common eBay seller complaint that the fees are too high. But we need to break this down and look at it a little bit closer. So in this video we're going to cover eBay's fee structure, strategies for reducing your fees, budgeting tips, and how to read your eBay statement. So let's start off and go over eBay's fee structure, because I think part of the problem comes in because you guys jump on eBay and start selling stuff and you don't even really know what you're being charged for. So in the spirit of education, let's go through the eBay fee structure so you'll know how much things cost. Because when you don't know how much something costs and you get a bill for it, it's quite shocking. It's kind of like going on a vacation and just putting everything on your credit card, and then you get the bill later and you're like, well, wow, I didn't know that drinks were $10 a piece, and I didn't know I was going to be charged this tax on my room bill. And so you've got to know what the fees are so that you're not shocked when you get that bill at the end of the month. So all of this is online. I just did a Google search for eBay fees and got to this page. And so first we're going to go over the selling fees, and then I'm going to go over the store fees. So if numbers make your head explode, you might want to bookmark this video and come back to it and play it over a few times so that you'll get all this information, because this is pretty meaty. This is not for entertainment, this is for education. So first of all, you've got your insertion fees. eBay says when you list an item for sale, we charge a fee per listing per category. We call this an insertion fee. If you choose to list your item in two categories, you also pay an insertion fee for the second category. Insertion fees are non-refundable if your item doesn't sell. If you relist your item, we charge an insertion fee for the original listing and each time your item is relisted. However, your monthly zero insertion fee listings can cover each of your relisted items until they're used up. Relisting applies in most categories, but there are some exclusions. So for most of you watching, this is just, per listing you are charged. If you have a store, it's different, and I'm going to cover that in a minute. But think of this like when you put an ad in the newspaper. You pay for the ad. Let's say you're selling your car, and you pay for the ad, and your car doesn't sell. You have to put the ad in again. And every time you put the ad in again, you're going to be charged. So that's what we can compare it to here. This is a fee regardless of the outcome of the sale. This is your fee to connect with the billions of buyers worldwide that might want to buy your item. So yes, this is one of the risks of selling on eBay, is you're going to have to pay to get your item up on the platform so buyers can see it. So like when you put something up for sale in a Facebook group or on Facebook Marketplace, that's free, but you're very limited on who's going to see it. On eBay, you are paying for access to customers. So that's how you need to think about insertion fees. Starting this month, March 2019, we only have good till canceled on the fixed price listings. So they charge an insertion fee every 30-day period. Your listing will renew automatically every 30 days unless your item sells before that time, or you cancel the listing, or your listing violates an eBay policy and they end your listing. Good till canceled listings count toward your monthly zero insertion fee listings. Fee amounts are based on the items in effect when the listing goes live and when it renews. So if you have a basic eBay store, you pay a certain fee every month. I'm going to get to that. And you get 250 listings included in that fee. When you go over that amount, you're going to start to get charged for these good till canceled listings. And it's just an automatic renewal. Every time 30 days passes and the listing renews, you're going to get charged a fee. for those listings to renew. That's just part of doing business. This is like having a Netflix subscription. You're going to pay, and then every 30 days, that subscription renews. So think about good till cancel listings in that way. You're putting it up there for access to all the eBay buyers in the world, if you've got international shipping, and it's just a set it and forget it. Every month you're going to get charged if your subscription or your free listing situation warrants that. So that's how good till canceled works. Okay, final value fees. We charge a final value fee when your item or relisted item sells, or if we determine that you intended to complete a sale outside of eBay. So don't ever offer anyone in messages to circumvent eBay and sell on a different platform, meet them in person to sell an item. Once you've used eBay to sell your item, eBay is entitled to get those final value fees. So that's why you get in trouble if you solicit off-site sales. Final value fees are calculated as a percentage of the total amount the buyer pays, including shipping and handling. Sales tax isn't included, and I'm not even addressing that in this video. Let's just keep it to the basics. If you offer or reference your contact information or ask a buyer for their contact information in the context of buying or selling outside of eBay, we'll charge you a final value fee based on the total amount of the sale, even if your item doesn't sell. And just a side note, some of y'all are contacting me through my eBay store and asking me questions. I cannot answer you. That's a violation of eBay policy. We can only have a discussion about the item that you are buying or interested in buying. So don't contact people. It's not like a chat room, a chat board, Facebook messaging. Don't do that through eBay. If it's your friend or somebody you see on social media that you want to talk to, figure out how to get their email. It's really easy to get my email. Just Google me. Go to my site, SuzanneAwells.com, and my email's all over it. So don't ever talk to anybody on eBay selling something or a buyer unless you're discussing more details about the item or something that is pertinent to that item. Don't use the eBay messaging system for anything else. You could get suspended or get charged for a final value fee on something that sold that's not there anymore. Maybe they see a discussion about this item, and then it's you end the listing early, and then eBay determines, these two were in collusion to do this sale off of eBay, and they're going to charge you a fee. So don't use eBay messaging for anything other than talking about the product. Okay. And then this goes on to explain the difference in auction and fixed price listings, which I don't really need to read all of that to you. Okay, additional final value fees for sellers not meeting performance standards. So if your eBay bill seems really high and you are below standard, you're getting charged extra. It says if your rate of item not as described returns is evaluated in your service metrics as very high in one or more categories, your final value fees will increase by 4 percentage points for sales in those categories. In other words, if you aren't offering a great product, things keep getting returned because items are not as described, either you're not describing them correctly, there's issues there, eBay is going to penalize you by charging you more. Also, if your account doesn't meet minimum seller performance standards for the U.S. at the time of sale, there will be an additional 4 percentage points fee on the standard final value fees at the time the item sells. So if you are below standard or you're getting a lot of returns for item not as described, meaning you're just being a sloppy seller, you need to tighten up, get back on track, and get out of below standard, which I have a video on how to do that, because you're going to be penalized financially for that lower performance. Okay, now you do get final value fee credits. If the buyer does not pay or you need to cancel the sale or report it as an unpaid item, you can get fee credits back. Also, if an item is returned. So there's a section on your statement for fee credits, and we're going to go over that in just a minute. We're going to look at how to read your statement. So these are the basic fees for most categories. Most of you listening are going to be in that 10% area, but you can go on eBay and look at the fees for the categories to see what yours are. I know mine are about 10% because of the categories I sell in. So I'm not going to go over each individual category, but that's easy to find. Then you've got listing upgrades, things like bold, subtitle, highlight. Those kind of things are pretty expensive. And here's a list of some of those. Making your title bold is $2. Using the international site visibility, you don't really need to do that. Just ship everywhere in the world and you'll be fine. That's 50 cents per listing, so you don't need to use that. Subtitle is like $3. So these are expensive, and these can get checked accidentally. So when you're doing your listings, before you submit, you need to look at the fees you're being charged on every single one and make sure that nothing is getting accidentally checked, because that's happened to people. I was consulting with a seller one time who her fees were just astronomical, and she had bold and highlight on everything and didn't realize it because she wasn't looking at the bottom of the page before she clicked submit to see what her fees were. And it was like $7 per listing on $10 items. So we fixed that really quick. Then you've got promoted listings. If you're using that program, you're going to have those fees. So that's also a separate section on your statement that you can look at. So eBay says the top takeaway here, the fees for listing an item depend on the price, format, and category you choose and whether you have an eBay store. So when you guys are on Facebook saying, how much are your fees? My fees seem really high. You can't compare yourself to another seller because it depends on what you're doing. This is a very individualized situation where what categories are you selling in? Do you have a store or not? How many listings did you have? Did you go over your allotted number of listings? Do you have listing upgrades? All of that stuff. So you should pause the video right here and take a screenshot of this or write this down. The summary of your fees include insertion fees, final value fee of the sale price of the item, final value fee on shipping. Let me elaborate on that. eBay charges this because years ago people tried to get away with circumventing fees by, let's say they had a $100 item and they would put $1 for the sale price and $99 for the shipping, and they were trying to get away from having to pay fees on their item. So the only way to standardize this process so that unscrupulous sellers could not continue to work around paying their fees was to charge a final value fee on both the shipping and the item price. So if you're doing free shipping, then it's charged on the total price. If you're doing calculated or flat rate, you're going to have two different final value fees on each item, one for the item price and one for the shipping. Okay, next issue is on the summary of fees, upgrades. Are you using any? Are you doing promoted listings? And are you below standard? Are you getting charged extra for that? So again, this is a very individualized situation. Don't compare yourself to other sellers because it all depends on what you are doing. So let's touch on store subscription and selling fees so you'll get an idea of these. And you can simply Google eBay store fees and you will find this page. So for a monthly subscription, you can run your own eBay store. And a store is just the way you're charged for things. If you don't have a store and you want a store, you just click a button and you have a store. Nothing changes. An eBay store is like an umbrella over everything you're doing. It just consolidates everything and gives you more features to use, such as vacation mode, markdown manager, more automation on things. So it's just a way that you're charged for things. So if you're thinking about getting a store, there's absolutely nothing to it. You just go to the store page and click the level you want and you're done. The fees and benefits vary depending on the type of subscription you have. When you have an eBay store, you'll get more listings with zero insertion fees and pay lower final value fees compared to selling without a store. That is one of the main benefits, is your fees are going to be lower. So when you get to a point where you are doing this as a business, or you consistently have a certain number of listings every month, it's going to make more financial sense for you to have a store. It's going to be cheaper per listing, which I'm going to show you a comparison in just a second. You also get access to additional tools to manage and promote your business. For me, it's vacation mode, which should be called emergency mode, because when something happens, someone's in a car accident, someone gets sick, you've got to go out of town on an emergency, you can just click a button on your eBay account and it will basically freeze everything. And you don't have to worry about shipping anything. You can go and handle your life emergency and then come back and pick up where you left off. You can set that to where things will continue to sell while you're on vacation and extend your handling time, or you can just block out the whole thing and not have to worry about any of it until you turn it back on. Now, the amount we charge for store subscribers depends on the item's price, the format and category you choose for your listing, any optional listing upgrades you add, your store subscription package, and how you are performing as a seller. So all those other things still apply to a store. So for most of you listening, you either don't have a store at all, which is fine, or you're going to have the starter or the basic store. So if we look here at the cost for the starter store, that's the lowest level. You do not get the eBay $25 supplies coupon every quarter, and you are kind of limited on what you can do. But if you just go month to month with the eBay store subscription, the starter one, it's $7.95, which you get 50 listings for that price, which comes out to 16 cents per listing. If you get on the yearly renewal plan, which basically you're still paying every month, you're just committing to do it for a year, your fee drops to $4.95 a month, and that comes out to be about 10 cents per listing, which is much cheaper than if you don't have a store. The next step up is the basic store. If you're on month to month for that with no yearly commitment, the fee per month at this time is $27.95, which makes it 11 cents per listing. Or if you do the yearly commitment, it's $21.95, which brings your price down to 9 cents per listing. So you can see how much cheaper listings are if you do it through a store. Okay, then if you go over your allotted listings, then you are charged extra. So I'm sorry, the starter store is 100 listings. I said 50. That is incorrect. It's 100. So once you go over 100 listings in the starter store, you're going to be charged 30 cents per listing. If this happens, don't just stop listing. Upgrade to the next store level. You can't make money if things aren't listed, and you can't let a few cents per listing inhibit your ability to make money. That's just silly. On the basic store, you get 250 listings, and once you start going over that, it's 25 cents a listing. I do the basic store on both of my stores, and because for the math for me, it looks like I have to be at 1,000 listings before the premium store makes sense for me, because the monthly fee is so much higher. On the premium store, the monthly fee is $74.95 or $59.95 if you do the yearly commitment, and I'm not there on either one. So most of you are going to be the starter store or the basic store. So sometimes you're going to be in that zone, in that threshold where you're going to go over your allotted listings, and you're just going to pay the fee, and that's just part of doing business. Please don't just stop listing because you've reached your allotted amount, because you're going to be paying a fee on it, yeah, but you're still going to be making money. So that just doesn't make sense. Okay, now we've got some strategies for reducing your fees. Okay, first of all, do you have the appropriate store subscription? If you're listing 300 items a month and you're paying 30 cents per listing, it's going to make more sense for you to get a store. So you need to evaluate what is your per listing cost based on the store level you have, if you even have a store, or maybe you need to get a store to make this more affordable and reduce your costs. Next thing is, are you using unnecessary upgrades? You need to be looking at every single listing when you are submitting it, because sometimes those unwanted upgrades are not checked. You might accidentally check one, or eBay tends to sneak those in sometimes. I've seen them on mine, even after this is my 16th year. Sometimes I'll get to the bottom of a listing, it'll say your fees are $3, and I'll be like, no, it's not. What's checked? Go back up, uncheck whatever I checked accidentally or eBay tried to sneak in. So be careful when you're listing so that you can make sure you're not getting unwanted upgrades. And again, I can't state this strongly enough. Listing fewer items is never a good strategy to reduce fees. When you're listing, you have more things for sale, and you're going to make more money. So this is like, tripping over dollars to pick up pennies. It's like, it does not make sense just to say, well, I'm out of listings, I'm not going to list anymore. When it's the 20th of the month and you're just not going to list anything for 10 days, that's really not good for your store for SEO, because eBay likes active stores and you've got to keep listing. So just reevaluate what you're paying. As long as you're making a profit, the fees are justifiable, and we can't change them. They are what they are. So adapt, get on board, and just keep going. But you need to be vigilant to make sure you understand what you are being charged for, and that these charges are right for your business. Going back to the vacation example, when you plan a vacation, you look at how much am I paying for the hotel or the lodging or the Airbnb or whatever you're doing? How much is my travel to get there, whether it's going to be gas for the car, a rental car, a flight? Try to get the deals, try to get them at low of a cost as you can, but you need to figure all this out and make sure you understand what you're being charged for. Okay, here are some budgeting tips for when you get that big bill and you freak out and start bashing eBay because their fees are too high. eBay sellers tend to complain about the fees when they receive their monthly statement. Your bill is this and it will come out of your account on this. Sticker shock can really happen when you get that $200 bill or whatever it is, and it just causes a lot of stress. So it doesn't have to be this way. And really, the bottom line is that the fees are not too high, but sellers are not either aware of them or are not budgeting for them. So look at your monthly statement, look at the bill you're getting, and divide it by 4. Now, obviously, you're going to have to go ahead and pay that one that you just got, but it will show you what's happening every month. And if you get a bill for $200, okay, just divide that out over 4 and pay $50 a week. And that sort of lightens the blow of that statement. It's kind of like, if you go buy groceries. If you buy groceries once a month, that's a pretty big bill. If you buy them weekly, that's not so hard to deal with. You've got to budget it out over time. And you can absolutely pay your eBay fees anytime you want. You don't have to wait for a bill. You can pay them anytime you want. And that's what I do, because I don't like getting those big bills. I do that on everything, really, my taxes, everything. I pay as I go along, so I don't have this big bill that is very anxiety producing. If you are a credit card person, which I'm neither advocating nor not advocating that, you can pay your fees using a credit card with a cashback or rewards program. Leverage that card. I am absolutely not advocating going out and getting a credit card for this, but if you're already doing that for other things, you can roll eBay in with that. Leverage what you're already doing. There are smart ways to use a credit card, but you need to look at the big picture of what is best for your business. Would your eBay fees qualify as a purchase for a cashback bonus or points or whatever you're trying to do? You've got to figure that out. Okay, last part is how to read your eBay statement. And I can tell you for a fact, many of the people I consult with have never even looked at this. They don't even know where it is. So if that's you, you have the privacy of your own home to do this right now and learn how to read your statement. So to find your statement, you want to go to the My eBay tab on the top right of any eBay page and choose Summary. And you'll get to a page that has this on the left, and you're going to choose the Account tab. Okay, and then you're going to get to this page that has all the information about your account, and go to the bottom and choose All Account Activity. Then you'll get a page like this. And over on the top right, you can choose your drop down boxes to specify the months or the period that you want to look at. And it's going to come up, the default order is date. So you can resort this information so that you can find what you're looking for, but this is how to get to the starting point. Now you can use the tabs here. See how it says fees, credits, payments and refunds, promotional savings. You can use the tabs to look at your fees or credits by type. So for example, there's column headers that say title, item number, transaction type, all of that. So when you go to any of those tabs, whether it's fees, credits, payments and refunds, you'll get a page like this, and you can resort the information however you want to make it make more sense for you. So I have sorted this page by the final value fee column header, so I can just have a quick glance at what the final value fees were. Now, a side note, eBay fees do not include PayPal fees, which are 3% unless you have the business account, and then I think it drops 2.5 or 2.9%, plus 30 cents per transaction. Those are figured on both the sale price and shipping, and that amount goes into your PayPal account at the time it's deposited. So here's an example of one of my sales. It was the Johnny Was top that sold for $44.97, and you can see that my fees for final value fee of the item was $4.11. Final value fee on shipping was 41 cents. So those are my eBay fees. Now you have to go to the PayPal transaction and it will show your PayPal fees there. When that payment comes into your account is when those fees are deducted. So you don't ever have to worry about paying PayPal fees. That comes off the top of the transaction when it comes in. And it would be great if eBay did this too, but they don't. They accumulate all of this over a month and then send you a bill. For a lot of people, the budgeting is easier when it's automatically taken out, but it is what it is. So you can look at every single one of your PayPal transactions and you will see the fees coming out when the money hits the account. That's how they get their money. So here's just a summary of that transaction because I wanted to show you how it all looks, and I have a spreadsheet that just calculates all this so you don't have to think. But according to my bookkeeping spreadsheet, my fees for this item, which I just put them at 13% because that incorporates the 10% eBay fee and the 3% PayPal fee. They were $6.69, which includes 10% eBay final value fee on the item, which came out to be $4.50, 10% eBay final value fee on the shipping, which came out to be 45 cents, 3% plus 30-cent PayPal fees, which came out to be $1.74. And I made a little bit of a profit on the shipping because eBay gives you that discount, so that is factored into my profit as well. So you can see that's just a snippet from the spreadsheet I use and how that is all figured out. So if you don't know anything about the spreadsheet, I have a video on that. I'll put the link to the video as well as the spreadsheet as far as knowing your numbers and how to use the spreadsheet, because it just consolidates all of this information. You don't have to figure this out every time. I know exactly where I am every day of the month, how much profit I've made, all of that. And you can stay on top of your business. So, summary of this video. Number one, understand the eBay fee structure. Knowledge is power. Know what you're being charged for. Number two, evaluate if you need to change your store subscription or start one if you don't have it. Number three, avoid using costly upgrades. Number four, pay your fees weekly so that you don't get sticker shock when the monthly bill arrives. And number five, understand how to read your eBay statement and keep an eye on it just like you would a bank statement, a credit card statement. You need to look at it. Make sure there's no mistakes on there. Make sure you got your final value fee credits back when you got a return or a transaction was canceled or something like that. This is doing your own due diligence. It's your business. Nobody's going to do this for you. Now, if you have questions about fees, bookkeeping, the financial side of an eBay business, please come to my premium library where I am dedicated and available to help you. Because I will need to ask you some questions about your business to accurately answer. And we'll need to have a little conversation that we can't have in the YouTube comments. Also, I don't feel professional answering financial questions on social media because the answers are sensitive and they depend on each seller's individual business. So don't put those comments, why are my fees so high? Because I don't know anything about your business. I can't answer that unless I look at your business. And that's what I do in the premium content library is I'm your personal help desk. You can ask me anything you want and I will help you. So if you want help understanding the financial side of this, getting set up, any of that, come to the premium library, stay for a month, let's get you organized, and then you can be on your way. So I hope this has helped you understand when you see this comment about eBay fees are too high. It's really not that. It's understanding what they are and making sure that you're doing everything you can to keep them at a minimum. As always, we love your comments below. I appreciate you watching and have a profitable and productive day. Bye.